So what's up, everyone? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world right now. You're back with me, Ian Kane, and a massive welcome to this week's first installment of DappRadar Meets. The date is Tuesday, August the 2nd. That's right, guys, it's August. It will be Christmas soon, so you'd better start being nice to each other out there in the cryptoverse. Firstly, I'd just like to extend an apology because last week I was actually out sick. The dreaded COVID finally caught up with me after all these years and swept me off my feet. But I'm kind of recharged now, back up to about 75%, so fear not, we're back on track. So except from the little odd cough here and there, I'm pretty much back to full strength. So go easy on me, guys. I'm not my usual self. So, as always, a huge, massive hello to all the listeners, and thanks for tuning in to another episode. It's really cool to be here, and I hope you're having a good week so far as some positivity is returning to the space. As always, we record the sessions for people to catch up later, so if you missed any of the previous shows, you can get them all on YouTube. Just head on over to the channel, where you can find hundreds of educational and analytical videos to help you along with your DApp journey. So today, as we had a little intro, I'm excited to welcome Scott Cheung. He's the CEO of Karmaverse. And I'm just going to do a quick sound check, so just make sure I've got you there, Scott. How are you doing today?
Good. How are you doing? And hello, everyone. Hi, the community of the DappRadar.
Scott. All right, I'm just going to jump into some little bits of news that have been popping off this week. It's been quite a lively week already. The first thing I want to draw attention to is that yesterday we released we do a roundup of the kind of most interesting NFT sales that have happened in the last week. Now, I created this roundup yesterday, and I want to announce that we actually included a complex scam in the NFT collection called YOLO Bunny. Now, YOLO Bunnies were kind of trending and they were selling, but on deeper, one of the community members actually brought it to our attention that these sales are basically just a complex series of wash trades. Steer clear of YOLO Bunny. My apologies for including it in the collection. But that's exactly why we want our contribute to earn system up and running so that we can root out these sorts of problems. It is quite difficult to keep on top of the amount of dApps and projects that we keep on top of. That's that. Then on Monday, we also saw the trading volume of CryptoPunk surge by nearly 1,850% over 24 hours. Now, this is to do with a new collection from Tiffany & Co.'s. So basically, CryptoPunk NFT holders could go and claim one of these new Tiffany & Co. NFTs, which is pretty cool. So you can go and read about that over on our blog. And we also released our behavior report, which is showing that blockchain games and NFT-related metaverse projects have managed to sidestep the bear market to some degree. So we'll talk about this a little bit later as well in the session. And the biggest piece of news probably today is the Nomad token bridge appears to have experienced a security exploit that has allowed hackers to remove a massive portion of the bridge's funds. Nearly the entire amount, actually, almost 200 million in crypto has been removed from the bridge. So there's only like $650 left. Perhaps the most interesting thing here was that it was a single hacker that broke the door down, as it were, and then a whole series of people started clambering in and doing what can only really be described as looting, taking small amounts, even being as silly as to use ENS names to take those amounts. So a crazy story popping this morning. We're writing about that now, and we'll keep on track, keep on top of that as well, because I'm sure it'll develop. So you can find all of those kind of stories on our blog, plus a whole heap of guides, educational articles, and trends to ensure you're one step ahead of what's going on. But don't go and check that out now, because now we need to jump into the main event. So as all the regular listeners know, we sit down with the brightest minds, blockchains, dApps, NFT collections, games, and protocols. And most importantly, what we want to do is put a human face on the project and give you, the audience, a chance to fire all those tricky questions in. So today, actually, regarding questions, if you stick up your hand and ask a question, I'll bring you on stage to ask a question. We've got 300 NOT tokens up for grabs, and that will be divided between the best 10 questions. All right, Scott, I think I've warmed everybody up. Let's jump into the first thing, which is what I call the elevator pitch. So I want you to pretend that you're stuck in an elevator with me for around a minute, and you're going to tell me all about the Karmaverse, why I should be paying attention, and why I should be getting excited. So no pressure, off you go.
Wow, you call that no pressure, huh? So let me start with what is Karmaverse? We call it a multiverse. We got the idea from Marvel Comics. But what I really mean by multiverse is that it contains multiple metaverses with a different backstory, different art, everything. We got around four of them with fantastic arts done already, and three more to go. And we have already launched our first game with a zombie comic style thing, which is pretty stupid and funny. It's like an out of town preview that actually, it is free to try out. You can find it in Google Play, you can find it in the Apple Store, and it is free to play. It's not just the tryout. You can play it for free. But if you want to advance in the game, you probably need some more NFT fighters to get some additional help on the way. So
Okay.
that's a
Top
like a
line.
60-second introduction of what we are doing now. And do you want me to go on? Is the elevator stopped it?
The elevators kind of come back into action. I'm pretty interested, so let's dive into the details of the different bits. So we've uncovered there that it's a free-to-play game, so the players can jump in and try this out without having to part with any cash. And you also said it was a bit stupid and a bit funny, so I'm interested, Scott. What?
Yes.
Let's talk about
Please,
it more
please.
specifically and like the kind of you've got. We'll get into the deeper the four different titles and the ones you're working on, but kind of what is the Karmaverse, and you then also kind of give us an idea of yourself and your background and why you're working in this area and your team as well, a little insight into the team behind the Karmaverse.
Absolutely. I actually came from an art background. I went to proper um private art school, but
Okay.
was the first I got my first degree in visual art and the second one in photography, fine art photography,
Oh,
and I have been like I was familiar with the idea of blockchain since
mhm.
2014-15, but I only joined the space after the first NFT came out
Ah,
because I can really relate to it. Before that, it's more like exchanges, tokens, minings. That's not something I can relate to from my own experience. But well, when NFTs came in, it's a whole game changer. It is like it is more like a material in the metaverse. It has
yeah,
shapes.
that's what you
It,
mean. Yeah.
yeah, it's real matter. It's no longer tokens and coins. It's a real thing. So you can actually build something in the metaverse. You can actually exchange things, and you can influence others with images, with games, with all kind of NFT related stuff. And well, sky is only the limit because well, when there is a material without limitation in physical form, without limitation in strength, thickness, everything. It's like the strongest clay you can find with a sculptor's hand. So it is really exciting. So I kind of all in after 2019 and started building NFT projects and games, and mostly I've been advising and operating on Ethereum before, but
Okay.
for Karmaverse, it's the first project I built on Polygon, and yeah, I really like it. I like the entire thing.
Nice. That's really interesting that kind of before the kind of gaming side of things really was getting noticed, that you didn't resonate with anything that was happening here in the space. That's really interesting to me. And like I'm kind of the opposite actually, like just to be straight up honest. Like I'm not the biggest gamer, but I'm really into the kind of token side of it. And I'll also say that kind of NFTs, they do pique my interest, but not as much as the just straight trading. So it's interesting to hear how you kind of what grabbed your attention. So that's really cool. All right, I don't know, Scott. I wanted to dive in because I know that the company, there are other games that you guys have created in the past, but I don't know how much involvement you've had there because you've just told me that you're quite new to the company. Not too new, but what I was reading was that the Camaverse was created by designers behind two of the top 10 kind of real life games. There was King of Avalon and Guns of Glory. generated a lot of revenue and had a lot of users. I was just wondering if you could tell us some of the lessons that you're trying to bring across from those traditional games. Like, what have you learned there that you need to bring into blockchain gaming?
Well, there is I wasn't in the design team of King of Avalon, but I'm working really closely with the core team there. Since usually when it comes to gaming company, what I do is more like a creative director, not the whole thing, not the whole thing. So for King of Avalon and Gods of Glory, which has generated a whole lot of revenue and a lot of users. It is it is what's really interests me. It's a consumption and the production. It's usually in a Web2 game, in a mobile game, traditional gaming, what we're talking about. It's the gaming devs who controls everything. They're like a central bank. They
Yeah,
produce everything, and players just consume it and pays for it,
yeah,
pays their
yeah,
time and their money. But in blockchain games, it can be really interesting if the dev is willing to give away a little bit or a lot of the production rights to the players, like play to earn or win to earn, or by spending their times. There's a proof of play token, whatever, in whatever ways they are giving away their production right. And by owning these tokens, players actually own part of the game. No matter how little it is, or it can be a very big chunk, it doesn't matter. That's what's really interesting. And coming from these big games, that this is the thing we have been, before we launched the first zombie, like a Candy Crush zombie game, we actually spent 80 days just to design the ecosystem to make sure it don't just collapse after 2 weeks like most of
yeah.
the GameFi projects.
That's what we
That
see a
part
lot
is,
of.
yeah,
I've seen
that
that
part
quite
is,
often.
mm,
Something we see quite often, I think, and we'll definitely jump into the tokenomics and the deeper kind of retention as well there, just to talk about that a little bit because it's so important as well. Well, that's interesting though that you kind of see that real ownership as the real kind of crux and the community involvement with gaming as well. And I agree with you. I think it's a whole different way to look at things that players actually have that contribute to the longevity of a game. I think it's very cool and have the ability to do so as well. So let's talk about so we've got this Karmaverse, which is kind of like the overriding multiverse, as you say. But then we've got this specific game that's out there at the moment, which is zombies, right? So then you've got more games coming as well. So can you talk about the game that's out and available to play, and then the other ones as well that are coming, and kind of what they're all about, and what the play mode is like?
I'll start with, I'll start with maybe 2 or 3 games. Let's start with the first game that we launched, Karmaverse Zombie, which is a jigsaw puzzle game. It is a simple tap game which only takes maybe 30 seconds per round. So it is on both Android and Mac and iPhones. So it's more like a mobile game.
Okay.
So it is the time and rounds are cut into smaller pieces. So it's more something that of a casual game.
Is it
But
an is it
but
an it's not idle though, is it? You're actually playing, in control, you're matching these tiles, right? So
yes,
it's not idle. Okay, cool.
yeah, it's a jigsaw puzzle. But with usually when it comes to an RPG, like you're racing a team and fighting things, it's turn-based or active-based, right? But we kind of make a little change so you can play jigsaw puzzle to fight your battle.
Ah, okay, got it. So you're doing
And
moves on the puzzle to then correspond
yes,
to your fighting. Okay, got it. Cool.
yes. And afterwards, that's just the battle part of the game. But and afterwards, there is a shelter system, which is something very close to Clash of Clans or other
Oh,
type of large SLG. You can build your shelter. You can You can collect resources and upgrade your zombies and fighters, something like that. And so I call it stupid because the jigsaw puzzle part is really a no-brainer. Everyone can just play it. It's not so much a skill based in that part,
Yeah.
the battle part. I call it stupid by that, but it's fun at the same time because it's a no-brainer. It's something you can spend 30 seconds or a minute to play and put it back into your pocket and pick it out again. So
Exactly.
yeah, that's the reason
That's
I call it
important,
that.
right, Scott? That's super important that people are able to just, there's no learning curve there. I mean, most people, I would imagine, know what a jigsaw is and how it works. I think it's good that you can jump in and quickly participate, without some steep learning curve. So that's cool.
Yeah, yeah, and this is just a preview of the entire zombie game. Actually, there's a larger part of a more established, more sophisticated, slightly a bit more hardcore SLG coming. The SLG is going to be based on, it's going to be a land-based game. Each land will represent your shelter, the player's shelter, and they can fight zombies together or they can do PvPs fighting with each other. So it is going to be more, there's going to be more interaction between players and the entire, well, metaverse.
Okay, nice. And you mentioned at the beginning that it's free to play. So how does that work? What can you do for nothing? And then you kind of, yeah, just explain that a little bit. Like you said, you mentioned that you might have to invest a little bit if you kind of want to win more battles. But what can you do for free when you first get in there?
Actually, everything you except you can basically do everything just by free playing. Well, when you enter the game, you will get a pack of free fighters, which is not an NFT, but it's free,
Yeah.
and you can fight with these group of fighters, and you can build your shelters. You can upgrade your players. You can upgrade your shelters and everything, every single infrastructure in it. But to reach a certain level of strength and compete in PvP rounds and actually winning it to earn tokens, probably some stronger NFT player fighters are necessity. It's
So you
not
can
like
jump.
100% necessary, but let's just say 80-90%.
Yeah, no, it makes sense to me, and I think it's cool that people can jump in and start to participate. So you've got non-NFT cards, and then you've got NFT cards. And
Yes.
okay, cool. So and this game is available to play right now. You can download it, and it's available on the App Store and Google Play, right?
Google Play.
So
Yeah.
what are the ones that are forthcoming? These other games that I saw on the website. What are they going to be similar, or are they completely different? What's the deal here?
They are the first SLG large zombie SLG game. It's going to be similar. It's going to be in the same metaverse. It's going to be in the same context with same background stories and art and fighters. So if you're already owning fighters from Zombie, the Jigsaw zombie game, you can
Right.
actually use it in the following game. That's the first one we're talking about. But the rest of the game is going to be very different. For example, the one I am actually producing their art is going to be it's going to be something of very different. It is going to be something more like Honka Impact, the early version of Honka
Oh.
Impact. But that is going to be a very different direction of games.
All right, cool. So let's talk about the art a little bit then, because that's your
Yes.
area and that's the bit that
Yes.
you want to talk that you know the most about as well. So the artwork in the Karmaverse is pretty cool. I was looking at it this morning. Can you tell us a bit about the motivation? Like, what's the kind of narrative here? What's the story, and what is the art kind of? What's the idea of it? What's it meant to invoke for the players?
First, we are upbringing these metaverses that is already well known by millions, well, not millions, thousands of zombie movies, thousands of, well, fantasy comics and West movies. So we probably start with these stories that's already out there, with these stories that already familiar by the players.
Yeah.
But the secret game I am painting right now, it doesn't have a name yet. I don't know what you call it yet. It's something of it's a completely different narrative. The narrative is going to be about Web3 and crypto. So the familiar faces, familiar names, and the thing only familiar with Web3 players will be integrated into that world. But that's still a secret. I haven't finished all the painting yet.
Yeah, you
I'm
gotta keep it to yourself. Gotta keep it to yourself. No,
yeah,
that's cool. That's kind of cool though,
yeah,
right?
it's really hard. You know, as an artist, when you paint something, you really want to showcase it. And usually in the old art world, if you paint something, let's say 20 paintings, you make an exhibition, you make a showcase, you
Yeah,
put it
yeah,
on the news and getting people and watch it. But when it comes to game, just the first come of a zombie game, it looks like very small games, right? We do have painted 400 characters for it. Just this one game. 400. Seriously.
just you doing all of that work as well.
No,
I'm
me.
imagining
Yeah,
you
it's
have a
you.
team
It's
there,
you.
right? It's
It's
just you.
you.
That's good.
No, me. But I kind of want to taking on grabs and control the quality of the paintings.
Yeah, nice. So you're like the art director of the whole thing. No, that's very cool, man. Very cool. All right, cool. So we spoke at the beginning and we said that because we need to talk about the kind of blockchain aspect of this as well. So it's a play to earn. You can have a play to earn game here. So you're running on the Polygon network. Can you tell us a
Hmm.
little bit about that choice of Polygon and if you have any plans? I don't know if you do to kind of expand out and join up with any other networks. We've seen other developments like subnets on Avalanche becoming a thing for games. Like, talk to us a little bit about that. Like, firstly, why Polygon, and then are there any plans to kind of go beyond Polygon?
Yes and yes. Start with the first question. Polygon. Why Polygon? Well, when I was first choosing which chain to launch our platform and game, it is about the aspect of yeah, that's pretty much the reason. And also, found a pretty much the other reason. I have find the Polygon network to be very friendly and EVM competitive EVM is really easy to use when it comes to gamings. So yes, that's pretty much the reason. Community. That's why we chose Polygon. And for the second question, to other chains, multi chains. Yes, we are planning that, and we probably start on other EVM chains. Although I am also a big fan of Harmony and Solana as well.
Okay, so well, porting to EVM chains makes compatibility sense, right? As the first move, and then you can scale out as
Yes.
things go on. All right, cool,
Yeah.
cool, cool.
Yes.
Makes
I have just talked to our tech the other day, like 3 days ago. How long would it take to launch our game onto let's just say BSC. Let's just say BSC is another EVM chain, right? Um, the answer is less than 2 weeks, and
sense.
everyone will be competing in the same game. It's not going to be a different game and two different game with two different community. It's going to be one same community. And it will take a little bit of work on the NFT part, but other than that, everything could be done in 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's it, right? The tools exist, everything's in place. Very cool. That's very
Yes,
fast. Like even in the
yes.
blockchain space, 2 weeks is super fast.
Yeah.
That's in a space that moves in hours generally. That's it's still really good. All right, cool, cool, cool. I want to talk about the so obviously you guys have been around for a little while now, and in these journeys along the way, usually sort of hit some milestones or you have some big achievements or even sometimes some big fails that can turn into kind of wins. So I wondered if you could share a few significant kind of game development or partnership milestones that Karmaverse has hit since launching.
Well, when it comes to partnerships, they really helped out a lot. Like, usually when it comes to Web2 gamings, the partnership is more like a meeting room thing. It's a meeting room. Everyone's dressing up properly, and it's like 4 hour long discussions and meetings. But blockchain is a completely different world, and
Yeah.
we have been reaching out to different GameFi projects and venture capitals and communities all over the world, and it has been an amazing journey. We are partnered up with, I'd say the best venture capitals in most part of the world. We are partnered up with a whole lot of other GameFi projects. By my count, somewhere around 50. And the page is just not enough to put all the logos in. By my count, in the last 8 weeks, we have been reaching out to like over 100 different GameFi communities and projects, and the yes answer came back from like half of them. And it's like a whole lot of Zoom meetings, Google Meets, and we exchange ideas, and all the meetings are like within an hour. It has been an amazing journey. People are like really trusting in each other
Yeah.
when it comes to a community base, and I love it. I love it. I find quite a few things. It's not milestones, but I have find the most Gen Zs in this industry, the most women calling the shots in this industry, and
Nice.
a whole lot of blockchain or game enthusiastic in this industry, and I have been nothing but gratitude to them. It's amazing journey.
Really blew your mind, like seeing that sort of collaborative effort and how people are willing to kind of work together and share stories and share knowledge. I also think it's very cool and makes a lot of sense, right? Like we can all get to where we need to be a lot faster if we share our information and become a bit more friendly about it. That's really cool, Scott, that you've kind of
Yeah.
it's taken you back a little bit. Like that's nice. I like that. All right. Let us dive into the tokenomics then, please, sir. This is a very
Mm,
important part of the project, and you've
of
actually got a
course.
dual token system with a governance token as well. Let's jump into this. Let's outline the kind of tokenomics, and then we'll talk about the kind of sustainability after that. But yeah, just tell us about the different tokens in the ecosystem.
Well, there's a governance token which goes through every single game. No matter how many games that's on the platform, the governance token will be penetrating all of them. And for sub tokens, it's experimental. We have like we got people from Columbia Math, PhD, like doing all the mathematics things, and they have been doing it for 80 days just for the first game. It's kind of experimental. It has created a system that no GameFi projects have ever done before, and it has lasted. It has lasted us for over 3 months and ongoing. Not a whole lot of projects can do that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and it is about the balancing. Well, they explain to me like I'm a 5 years old, so I'll just yeah, I'm from ASCO, so yeah, they're kind of like worried about my feelings. So I'm just going to repeat what they tell me. It's they have created a debate system that is basically trying to balance the productivity and the consumption. So if
Okay.
people are consuming more, they are creating more at the same time. But if the consumption has been shrinked, probably their productivity will be shrinked at the same time. So that kind of balancing a whole lot of moving parts. And so far, it has been working.
Yeah, so far so good, right? And that's
Mm.
I mean, that's a difficult thing to do, as you said, Scott. And I think it's become one of the major challenges of any play to earn game is trying to balance the tokenomics and, as you say, consumption with productivity. And it's been going well so far. That's very cool to hear. And so, how do you maintain that healthy ecosystem in the game? Like, how do you keep people coming back? What's your retention? How do you kind of execute that? Do you have challenges, competitions, seasons, rewards? Like, how does it work?
Oh, we have everything. We have a 8 week, more like 2 months season. Have a whole lot of like token rewards and that. Other than that, we have Discords. We have Discord like communities every 2 or 3 week, and we have basically it's like usually of that. They have the rules for it, right? In our case, we kind of like divide the rewards into these smaller events, so you can basically play different events every day. And there's like 4 each month, I think. It's going to be rotating, like 6 different events rotating, and each month you get 4 different ones, something like that.
Okay, cool, cool, cool. All right, I want to just jump in quickly because I want to talk about the actual game, the zombie game. Could you talk us through what the onboarding is like for players? Is it relatively easy? The reason I ask this is because one of the big sort of leaps that we've seen or hurdles that we've seen in the space is that user onboarding has been a challenge. That to get kind of players onboarded and understanding about the blockchain. How do you guys deal with that? Do you hide it all in the background? Like, can you tell us a little bit about the onboarding process for a new user who just downloaded the game? What do they have to do?
Has certainly been challenging. It's one of the hardest things that I am facing at this point. What we do is, firstly, we are doing a whole lot of like social media events to get people already familiar with Web3 to turn them into our players, right? But afterwards, we find out there's also a huge number that just downloaded the game without consulting any of the social media. So we kind
Right.
of, so we kind of like have to work with both hands. And firstly, we made a more like, it's not a white paper level thing, but it's more like an introduction of how to install MetaMask, how to buy NFT, how to exchange tokens into a whole lot of writings. And just a week before, we have changed it into simpler imageries.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a few image. It's going to be hard steps, but when it comes to like 5 simple images, it's easier for them to actually read it, not like 500 words of text. So
Yeah, and
it's still experimental. It's still experimental.
point that you make there, and you've also got different languages to deal with, right? You've got people around the world who want to play, and yeah, it can become very challenging. I think we do well in
Yes.
this field to learn from the kind of successes of Web2 gaming and the kind of onboarding they do, where they walk people through how it works within the game. Do you know what I mean? Like you kind of the first level is basically just a big test where you learn how to do stuff. So I've seen some more of that creeping in. So I think it's a challenge we'll solve. And but as you rightly say, it's about education, putting out the right content there. And I also see on your YouTube channel you have some good videos there that explain to people what to do. So I guess the bottom line is when you download the game, also go and check out some of the supporting content so that you understand what you're doing, right? It's
Yes.
not that straightforward, but yeah. All right, cool. Let's
Yes.
talk about NFTs a little bit, and the utility that they play in the game. So, to introduce the NFTs, what kind of different ones do you have? What's their purpose, and how can you kind of level them up and Anything else you can do with them, such as staking or any other way to earn?
At this very moment, we have three kind of NFTs. The
Mhm.
first kind is it's like a necessity. It's fighters, and simple and plain fighters. You can upgrade them. You can and the attributes and skills are random. So yeah, you can get a strong one, a strong fighter, or you can get the same fighter with different strengths and different skills. Other than that, there's zombies. It's more like a breeding system. You use serum to cure zombies. That's how we name our sub token,
Yeah.
like serum to cure zombies. So it's more like a breeding system, and the zombies you actually get from battles and PvPs. Um, Other than that, there's other kind of resources we are uploading on the we're maintaining on chains at this point, and we haven't made all of them because it could be a pandemonium. We don't know yet, but we're trying to bring more things on chain so it can be more decentralized. And it's a step by step thing. We didn't go that active and put everything on chain at once, but it's a step by step, baby steps.
Baby step.
And later games or later version of this first game, I think there will be lands for shelters. I think there will be, and I think we are trying to bring more things on chains as well. So I don't know. I can't promise 100% what's coming next, but I think that I am definitely sure there will be more NFTs.
Nice. Okay, cool. So when you just as a kind of side note on this, if you buy, what's the options for buying? Do you buy them in packs? Like, do you buy a pack of cards and then it's random, you open them, and then obviously the next question then is you have your marketplace so you can go and choose the ones you want. But how does it work at the beginning? Is it a pack system where it's random, or how does that work?
At first, there was a pack system with five NFTs in one pack, and
Nice.
there's usually the majority of them is like three fighters, one zombie, and one material. But because of the probability, it can be varied.
Yeah.
It can be slightly varied. That was the very beginning, but it has all run out. So at this point, for existing NFTs, I would highly suggest you guys to go on to our marketplace. It is also on our website. It's in the most obvious place and it's easy to trade.
Right, nice. So you've got your own internal built-in marketplace here where the NFTs are on chain, I presume, on Poly. Right,
Yes,
cool. So then I'm just looking now, so you can kind of go and you can filter by your. Right, cool. So what am I looking for here, man? What's a good one? Is there anything specific? Any tips you want to throw at us to kind of differentiate between these different types?
um, actually, I would like to ask because the attributes are random. So
Okay.
there's freedom of telling you which one is the most strongest one. There's no point doing that. The attributes and skills are random, so I can't tell you which one to buy or which one to not. But I'd like to ask a small question that how does players like to purchase their NFTs? Do they always go for blind balls, or do they like existing NFTs? I don't know.
Scott,
I don't know.
sorry, Scott, sorry to interrupt you. There was a bit of distortion on your side there. Can you just start again? You've got a question there, I think. Can you just start from that point? Sorry.
Sorry. The question is that do you prefer your NFT? Would you like to start by minting block boxes or just NFTs on marketplace?
We're still getting some distortion. Sorry, Scott. Right, try that
Um,
again. Sorry. It's happened once or twice, but or your microphone keeps coming back to being perfect, but it just distorts ever so slightly for a second there. So I'm not sure if maybe a connection or something is wrong. Um,
yeah, I think it's a connection. I think it's a
you're good
connection
now.
on, yeah.
Quick, tell us your question. You're good now.
Okay, so minting blind boxes or purchasing NFTs on marketplace.
Ah, right. So you're putting the question out to the community about what they prefer. That's quite interesting.
Yes.
Wonder if anybody out there is brave enough to answer that question. So Scott would like to know if what's your preference, if it's blindly buying these kind of loot boxes and you're not sure what's in them, or having or knowing in advance what's inside. Is that right, Scott?
Yes.
Shall wait and see if anybody is brave enough to step up and answer that question. In the meantime, I can answer that question for you if you like. Quite
Sure,
like the
please.
blind loot boxes. Quite like the idea of the surprise, and I quite, obviously it has its downfalls. I would rather know that I'm going to get something amazing, but that's not going to happen straight away. So I like the idea of a blind box. And it also levels the playing field if I know that everybody else is in the same situation. So we're all in this random sort of mathematical situation as opposed to being financially stronger or other things like that. So I would say blind purchasing is okay with me. What about you, Scott?
Similar. I love the lottery draws or draw or other any kind of draws. I just love it.
Kind of like that, yeah. I mean, it levels the playing field, right? And it makes everybody feel equal, and you get what you get, and that's random, and nobody's cheating, as it were. So I kind of like that. I remember back in the days, I was playing NBA Top Shot quite a lot, and you'd get this pack, and you'd rip it open. That was half the fun. I'd arguably say after you've opened it, it's a bit boring, but once I'd opened, the opening part was
Absolutely.
actually really cool. Like, I really like that. And it also goes into the art as well, I think, Scott, that a lot of these games where you open these packs, I think a lot is to be said about what happens on screen when you open the pack, the sound effects, the visuals. For me, it needs to be really kind of engaging. Like the sound effects make a big difference to me. I think Gods Unchained did a really cool job there. Everything's very epic. Like your pack opens and it feels like you've just entered heaven. Like it's kind of cool. Yeah, I
It
think that was
is. It
cool for the
is.
random.
The other day I was checking out Genshin Impact's
Uh,
user generated videos, and I have found most of them to be drawing heroes from the pool.
yeah. It,
It's
right? That
less
was
of
the game, yeah. It's
yeah,
cool.
it's less about how to play, but more
Yeah,
of
they're sharing. Like they just want to
yeah,
share their
reassuring.
experience. That's how you build a community, isn't it, Scott? That's how you build around what you're doing. I mean, a lot of the time, I think people forget about these little things. They mean a lot. The small things mean a lot, especially in games. I think there's
Exactly.
the eye for detail is necessary. Like I remember playing old games like Grand Theft Auto, and I still remember the name of the coffee shop that I'd randomly crash into every now and again. It's a small detail, but I still remember it. Like it's strange, but yeah, people miss these things, I think. All right, Scott.
Absolutely. Mm.
Let's what we've spoken about community activities and contests. I mean, what's the user? So we spoke about sort of community activity and contests, and what's the feedback from your users? How do they reflect in the Karmaverse market performance? Are they happy? Are they want more from you guys? What's their kind of look?
Oh, they definitely want more. Our community manager just asked me out to dinner last week, and she's like, how fast is the next game to come? And our community wants something deeper because they have been spending like the longest player, the oldest player, had been spending 3 months in a jigsaw puzzle, and they
Yeah.
definitely want something deeper with more hardcore playing and they don't know where to spend or where to upgrade anymore. They want something more, and they absolutely want to do that. And I'll try to pace up.
You better get working, Scott. It's
Yes.
it's interesting
Mm.
though, like, but it makes a lot of sense, right? People have engaged, they've come in, and now I mean, it was a silly question on my behalf. I think in this space more than any, everybody always wants more, and patience is
Yes.
quite low, as I've noticed.
Yes.
Like people think you can flip these things in a week. So I guess the overriding message there is hold tight. Scott's working hard. Everybody chill. Give the man a chance. All right, cool. Let's talk about the roadmap a little bit for the future and what's coming because we're kind of two-thirds of the way through the year almost already. And
Yes.
what's the kind of next steps on the roadmap, and what should people be getting excited about for the sort of near future?
I'll start with the near past. We have just got all 5-star ratings on Google Play, 5-star ratings on Apple Store. We have been top 20, top 15, I don't know, on DappRadar from all chains.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for the near future, the zombie SLG game, the larger hardcore game, is going to be
Okay.
launched in quarter 4. We are going to be. I don't know if I can tell this or not. I'm not.
Be
Okay,
careful.
I'll just go ahead. We are going to partner up with Binance Live, and we are going to officially go on Binance Live in the very early future. By early future, I mean but weeks. And by the time we'll have our own video UGCs from our community, and these community members will choose real community members from our Discord channels. Other than that, we're going multi-chain.
Oh, cool. I think you either made a lot of people very happy by announcing that, or maybe put the pressure on. But either way, it's very cool.
Yeah.
And you didn't mention a date, so that's perfect, Scott. Good work. I've just invited a member of the audience onto the stage, Case Trusak. I'm wondering if you are there, if you have a question. We can't hear you. Your microphone is off, but I can't hear what you're saying.
Hi, Case.
Are you there, Case? Oh, Discord problems. I always blame Discord, Scott. You know, it's probably not, but it is what it is. Case, if you're having problems with your mic, feel free to send me a message into the DappRadar server and I will read out your question. No problem, man. I'm going to take you off the stage. It seems that you have a problem there. Free to come back if you sort out your microphone. All right, cool. Sorry about that, Scott. These things happen sometimes. All right. So next question I have is that we've spoken about the game. We've spoken about how it works, what it does, what the future's all about for the imminent future anyway. And where can people connect? Where's the best place to come and learn more? What are your most your most active social channels? And where can people keep asking questions and find out more?
I'd say Discord and in-app, because we do have chatting channels in-app, in-game,
Nice.
and I'd say it's one less steps, right, when you are communicating in-game than downloading another social media. So the first preference would be in-game. And secondly, we do have a whole lot of Discord events. So Discord is also somewhere you would like to follow. Thirdly, I'd say Twitter. It's more like an official announcement. It's not really something of a whole lot of engagement and interaction, but it's just a follow. It's just a click away. So yeah,
I like that, Scott. Good work there. Just one simple click away. No, so Twitter for updates and a stream of valid news and things that's happening, like confirmed, and then Discord for the more conversation and questions and things like that. Makes perfect sense. Very cool. What about if people would like to get involved a little bit more with the Karmaverse? Do you have ambassador roles? Like, how does that work? Some of the games that I've spoken to, they've got roles for people to kind of champion the games. Do you have anything like this in place?
Yes, since we do have Discord channel events, a whole lot of them, we are giving out different roles to different group of people, like even in different part of the world or speaking different languages. We got different moderators. We just got a new Russian-speaking moderator and French-speaking moderator. We have community volunteers. They are volunteers, but we're still giving them tokens, right? We'll still incentivize them with tokens. They volunteered, but we'll still have to do something for their efforts, right? So we do have all kind of things, and recently we just made a user generating content event. So if anyone's any kind of painter or writer or just like different kind of meme or like to live stream, It's all welcome and incentivized.
All right, very cool. All right, that's cool to get that out there as well. So Scott needs some help, guys, and yeah, he's putting the shout out. He needs some artists there. All right, Scott, I think we've covered. Is there anything else that you want to get out about Karmaverse that we haven't spoken about today, or anything else coming, or just anything generally that you want to shout out before we wrap this up?
I'd like to thank you guys. I'd like to thank you guys because firstly, I'll thank the community, and secondly, we got like 70 people just stayed in an entire hours here, and this is amazing. And I'd like to thank DappRadar because we just kind of like uploaded somewhere around 40-50% of our data from server, and we got this invitation from you guys, and I'd love to be a part of this. I'm hoping we can do this more often, and I'd like to invite you and the community and the team to our Discord or our game later.
Nice, nice, nice. That sounds very cool. We love to do stuff like that, you know. Like I interview people all the time, but I'd quite like to be interviewed every now and again. It's a different ball game. All right, cool. Thank you, Scott, for your time. I really appreciate you being here today with me and taking time to outline and answer all these questions as well. It's very cool, and I really
Absolutely.
hope that everybody learned something here today as well. I think it's the most important thing for these sessions for me is that the people listening and the people who listen later to the YouTube video get to understand a bit deeper about the people who are working at the company. And I think that's really important in our space where transparency is something that is very important. So yeah, cool. Thank you, Scott, for your time. I really appreciate it, man. Righty, we're going to wrap
Absolutely.
up. Yeah, it's been a pleasure, man. Thank you very much. And yeah, I'm sure we'll speak again as well. Okay, so we've got more Discord sessions happening this week. So you can join me tomorrow, 2 p.m. UTC. I'll be sitting down with the CMO of the multi-chain DAO XDAO. So you can learn all about how to set up your own DAO with the help from them and much more as we dive into this kind of fascinating and trending topic at the moment. And then on Thursday, we've got Pedro and Modesta. They'll be here at 3 p.m. UTC. And they've just completed their latest user behavior report. So they're going to dive right into that and look. It basically looks at the shockwave caused by the collapse of Terra and how the blockchain space reacted and what kind of situation we're in now. So that's pretty interesting, as always. So yeah, tomorrow and on Thursday, more sessions to come and join in with. So that's it from me. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll catch you all soon for another session of DappRadar Meets. Thanks again, Scott. Hopefully I'll catch up with you again in the future sometime, and I wish you the best of luck with your project moving forward. All right, guys.
Thank you. I'm really looking forward to it.
Thanks, man. Cheers, Scott. All right, guys. Take care. Have a great day, and we'll see you all later.